how to choose it, how to mix it, all those good things.
Yep.
Very cool. Not necessarily the most exciting topic, but important.
It is. The salt you choose is basically like the foundation of your aquarium. So what you choose does matter. So we're going to cover all the salt topics tonight.
Yes. We are giving away 2 $100 gift cards today, as usual. So make sure to stick around to the end to get some Waterbox cash. There is a currency to win that. We need you guys to smash that like button. We need you to subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. But most importantly, we need you to comment, engage with us, ask questions about salt. That's the topic today. So we want to know your questions all around salt mix and everything in regards to that.
Yeah, the guys will be grabbing the questions throughout the stream. And if you're not active in the chat, they have no idea you're here. You can't win a gift card. So that's all there is to it.
Yes.
You win by being live and being active in the chat. So
I ask this every week, but are we live on IG too?
Yeah.
Instagram?
And the answer is yes, every single week.
All right. What's up, Instagram? Head over to YouTube. Okay?
You need me in? Me? Well, I can't. I'm moving my chair. All right. Am I good? Yep.
So again, you guys, we're talking about salt as you just joining us. Make sure you guys ask your questions in the chat about everything in regards to salt.
Yep.
You know, why should you choose it? What's the best way to mix it? How long can you store it? We're going to talk about a little bit of that, but put it in the chat. Those questions, we're going to put them up on the screen later, and that gives you a chance to win one of two $100 gift cards.
We're going to tackle a lot of the topics, so, you know, we'll see if we answer your questions. If not, drop them in there. We'll see what we can get through. You know, so I guess one of the most important things is, or one of the basic things is what's in salt mix is so important. And it's really your basic core elements. So you have alkalinity. Alkalinity is your key for pH stability and coral growth. Calcium is essential for your building coral skeletons. And also invertebrates use calcium. Magnesium, which people don't talk about too much, is really important for preventing precipitation of calcium and keeping your calcium and alkalinity actually balanced. So, you know, those are your core elements that are in salt that matter a lot in their levels. And then you have all the trace elements, those minor elements, those things that you don't think of in these bigger numbers that you always hear about. And those are those tiny little things that really factor into coral growth and health long term, all those minor and trace elements that are in salt. So that's really what you're utilizing in a salt mix, is those core and trace elements. So that's what you're kind of looking for and what you're bringing into your aquarium with that. And of course, salinity, salt.
Yes, I want to chime in real quick. If you guys don't know, Waterbox, we actually have our own reef salt. Mm-hmm. We launched it. I always try to say put a date on this. A little over, probably about 3 years ago. It's become wildly popular among our aquarium owners. You can check out the reviews on waterboxaquariums.com. It is a wonderful salt. We were very specific when putting it together. As you can see, also it's on sale right now, so definitely take advantage of that. It's on sale till the 31st. It's a 20 kilogram box, makes up to about 160 gallons. One of the cool things is we don't just put it in one big bag. To keep it fresh, we put it in 4 bags that equal up to the 20 kilograms. So 4 or 5 kilogram bags. Definitely check it out. Again, there's a lot of information on that page that you can look through, some videos. Shameless plug, our salt, because we like it. So definitely check it out. We got thousands and thousands of owners using it. So.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of reasons of like what you want to look for in a salt, and also kind of why we developed our salt in the way that we did. So it's going to kind of intermingle those topics themselves. So how to choose the right salt for you. If you go, you're like, all right, I'm starting.
It's odd.
There we go. We're good.
We're back on YouTube.
Should be in a second.
There we are.
Well, hello.
Welcome back, YouTube. Our internet here in the studio or in the building has been a little bit intermittent today. I think we had some issues there, so we had to stop and restart the stream. But we're going to keep going. So hopefully you guys just stick around. what was the next topic we were going to?
All right, so we're starting, just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay, so we're gonna go to tips on mixing and storing your salt water. So always use RODI water. This is a rule for any saltwater aquarium, and this is just for clean water. Start with clean water, don't go with tap water, it's gross. And use a refractometer to test your salinity. Calibrate it often. It's the only accurate way to really test your salinity levels. Keep your salt water in a closed container to avoid contaminants. That's going to be really, really important if you're storing it. Also, each brand, whatever you choose, is going to have its own instructions for mixing, and it's really important to follow those instructions because they're there for a reason. And almost everything is going to be a little bit different on how it mixes. Now, when we were formulating our salt, we chose to formulate it in a way that made it very easy to mix and very realistic to mix. So there's a lot of salts on the market that are very, I don't know what the word is, but a pain to mix because the requirements are very hard to meet. A lot of times the temperature requirements, it has to be at this temperature to mix, which are not easy to obtain or not realistic. So for example, with ours, they're fast. Ours is very fast to mix. Mixes within 15 minutes, mixes clean. The temperature to mix is very realistic. So we say mix yours between 74 and 76 degrees. This is like an average room temperature where it's easy to raise it up with a thermometer or a heater very quickly. It's not at a low temperature that's hard to meet, such. And you can store it for 5 days with no mixing or no aeration. So it's very reasonable to keep on hand, that kind of deal. So do follow the instructions for your particular mix on storage, what can be done, and how to do it, because it's there for a reason.
I will say that you could probably keep it at that temperature these days because there's not many places in the United States that are not freezing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
It is snowing in Florida.
Florida got
It's not
so
snowing
much snow.
where we are, thankfully.
No.
But we had like a high of 41 today, and we're in Central Florida, and that's not what I signed up for.
No, it's disgusting. But the panhandle of Florida, some places got up to 11 inches, which is unheard of. Absolutely ridiculous. There's no such thing as snowplows and stuff in Florida. So, like, it's not a thing to get snow here.
They just close schools, shut everything down until it all melts, and then go back.
And I don't know how long it takes for 11 inches of snow to melt, so I don't know.
But I don't know.
Florida doesn't do snow, and they just got a lot of it.
This weekend,
but at least we're in Central Florida, at least. So thankful. Common mistakes to avoid when dealing with salt, and is choosing your salt mix based upon price. Okay. Don't go for the cheapest because you're not necessarily going to get good quality.
If it's cheap, it's for a reason. It's because they're using lower quality.
That is true.
Everything.
And the most expensive doesn't mean it's better. You can put any price tag you want on a salt. Doesn't mean it's better. Go based on parameters, how it mixes, and the ease of use. Also, before doing a water change with your salt mix, bring it up to temperature to match your aquarium. I think a lot of people mix salt, don't think, oh, it's been in my garage mixing. It might be 70 degrees, my aquarium's 78, I'm gonna do a big water change. Temperature shock, corals, fish, not very good for them. Keeping and storing your salt water for too long and then going to use it, your pH and stuff is not going to be stable, can cause issues for your livestock. And then using a hydrometer to measure salinity, not accurate, going to get you in trouble at some point. Invest in a refractometer. They're not that expensive and they're well worth the price.
I think Waterbox has a refractometer for $29.99.
Can't beat that. And you can calibrate them. They're easy to use. Do not use a hydrometer. They're just going to fail at you at some point. They're not the way to go. So those are some common mistakes. There's probably a lot more that can happen, but these are, I think, some of your main ones.
And again, you guys, if you got questions, post them below. That is the currency to win. We want to hear from you. Where are you from? Where are you tuning in from? Tell us what aquarium you have. Ask us, most importantly, about your salt-related questions, because that's what we're talking about. Salt is a big deal. And just to reiterate, I mean, I'm obviously biased, but I like our salt because we designed it specifically for what we prefer.
Yeah, and biased because after 20 years, took everything I don't like about everything else, we developed it into what do want, but you know.
In my opinion, one of the fastest, cleanest mixing salts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's going on at Waterbox right now?
If you guys don't know, we have a January sale running right now to the 31st.
Happy New
So up until
Year.
the 31st in the US and Canada, you can save 10% on all aquarium systems and 15% on the supplies and equipment from
Ooh,
Waterbox.
yeah.
So again, you guys, new year. If you're looking to get into Waterbox, check that out. We got financing in both the US and Canada. So now is the time, and we're talking about salt. You get salt for 15% off right now, and that includes subscribe and save. So if you get salt right now, you're gonna save 15% plus an additional 10, I believe, if you subscribe. So if you know how much
Wow.
salt you're running through, subscribe to it now because you're gonna save a ton of money in the long run.
Dang, that's a really good deal.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, let's do some questions.
Sure.
Started my saltwater journey with my Waterbox 35.2. I haven't seen, I believe 35.2 still. Yeah, we do. Is that a dumb question? When mixing salt is it necessary to temperature match with a heater? Yes, I'm sorry. That was a dumb question. I was thinking of the frag version. Ignore me.
Is it necessary?
You had to read that again because I distracted you.
Yeah, no, I got it. Okay, so when you're mixing salt, usually there's going to be a temperature requirement depending on the brand. You want to mix it at that temperature, and then before you do a water change, bring it up to the temperature to match your aquarium. So usually most salts aren't going to tell you to mix at like 78 degrees, which your aquarium's at. So you want to then bring it up to match before you do your water change.
Thank you, Pete. Aquatic polyps. Why do some salts say to only mix for a certain amount of time on their mixing directions? I always thought that was odd, an odd thing being that they mix forever in an aquarium.
It has to do with stability of the ingredients. So over mixing a salt, and also sometimes you also see like some will say mix vigorously, some will say mix kind of like at a like regular amount for a certain longer period of time. It has to do with like the formulation and also the like size of the ingredients too, and how it's like formulated to then mix. 'Cause mixing too fast on certain type of ingredients can actually make them not dissolve properly, can also make them not as what's the thing? What's the word I'm trying to think? Like balanced or like stable. So every salt is made so differently on the grain size per element and how they're done and how when they mix and together to water and speed and how they actually formulate and keep pH and alkalinity and stuff like that balanced. So there is a reason, very scientific, very chemist. So just follow it.
I don't know if Keen's going to have a question about this, but there's something kind of in the regards to that is someone mentioned that they like a salt because it's ICP tested. All of our salt is ICP tested. So basically about every pallet of salt runs through an ICP machine. There's a lot number on every single box. So if you want to know the exact ICP analysis of your box of salt, you can email us and get that.
Yes.
Do you need it to know that? Probably not, because it's all within a specific range that we're very strict about. But and our salt is also what we would coin a synthetic salt. It's not like,
It's not dried ocean.
yeah, so there's a couple different salts on the market. Ours is what we call synthetic, so it's mined salt. We add in the other elements. There's also other salts on the market that are seawater that's then dehydrated, cleaned, and then all the elements are added back to it.
Yep.
Ours is not that type. It's the what I would call synthetic anyways. How long can it last once mixed?
We say you can store it once you mix it for about 5 days is your best bet. Now, if you use it after this time, is it bad? Absolutely not. But that's when it's basically to the stable point of pH and alkalinity. If you use it after that point, you know, we can't guarantee that maybe pH and alkalinity are going to stay at the levels that we give you for the salt mix. So, I mean, yes, you can still use it. It just is not going to be in that guaranteed range.
Calm it down, Karen. So I have 2 freshwater tanks from you guys. I'm intimidated by saltwater. Is it really as difficult as some make it sound?
It's not. I think just knowing in advance kind of what you're getting into and learning before you get into it. I think people that jump into saltwater and don't have knowledge beforehand get overwhelmed. And that's why we have our YouTube channel. That's why we have these lives and the videos that we do. You can go through our YouTube channel and see so many builds that we've done, from small nanos to large LX aquariums, and walking through the process to kind of show you each way. And I think so many people have come to us and saying, like, we've never done salt before, but watching your builds has helped us do it and do it successfully. And that's the point of our builds and videos. Watch those. Go through our builds, watch our videos, and it's going to really show you what you're going to do, kind of give you an idea, and make sure it's right for you, and then help guide you through the way successfully.
Also, we have a Facebook group. If you're not already in it, check out the Waterbox Aquariums official Facebook group. That's a really great resource. Can you discuss the speed of water changes, drip or dump or something in between?
I do my water changes fast. We do it by pump. We like pump it out with a speed pump and
right back
fling
in.
it back right back in. And honestly, as long as your temperature matches, there's no problem with doing it that way. I'm all for quick and efficient. There's no reason to spend half your day doing a water change if you can avoid it. Purchase pumps. Do it as fast as you can. Pump the water out, get the water back in. Make sure the temperature matches and your salinity matches. That's your biggest thing. That way you're not stressing out any livestock. Don't waste your time. The easier you make a water change, the more likely you're going to do it regularly, the happier your aquarium's going to be.
Bill misses the golden horse head. How often should
I was
you...
actually thinking the other day that we got to bring him back on the show. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's in my office. How often should you calibrate a refractometer? As often as you'd like.
That's a pretty good answer, actually. I guess it depends on how often you use it. I would say average person at least once a month. We do ours here just because we're using it more regularly once a week, but you can't calibrate it too often. Honestly, every single time before you use it, if you want to drop a little bit of RO water on it, and people may come at me for this, I calibrate mine with RO water, RODI water. You can buy fancy calibration fluids if you want. Go ahead. I use RODI water. Put it at 0.
What do you think is the difference in those calibration fluids, or are they just putting distilled water in a bottle? And
no, because they do have them like it might be a little bit more accurate enough to be worthwhile. I don't know. I mean, people might disagree, but I just use RODI, put it at 0. I think consistency is more important than maybe it being 0.001 difference if you use a calibration fluid. But yeah, I mean, you can do it every single time you use it if you want. If you want to be for sure, do it every few times. But just don't let it go like 2-3 months without calibrating it if you're using it regularly, because it's going to slowly kind of just get off of center. Not usually by much, but just in case.
Yeah. How do you raise salinity in a tank without doing a water change and without directly adding unmixed salt to the tank?
So if your salt level is down, what you can do is, depending on how big your aquarium is, take some amount of tank water out, or even if you can just use some RODI water, mix salt into that as a higher salinity and pour that in. Depending on the size of your aquarium would depend on how much you want to do that too, because you don't want to probably raise your salinity more than like a point or two in a 24-hour period. So if you need to bring it up quite a bit, you're going to do it over the span of a few days or a week. But mixing a kind of a super concentrated salt slushy and slowly pouring that into your sump and letting that mix into your aquarium until you bring your salt level up over the course of a few days if it's going to be a few points that you need to go up. So never just kind of dump salt in there and let it slowly kind of mix in, but slowly add super concentrated salt.
Thank you, Wes. Do you have any recommendations for changing from one brand of salt to another?
Sure do. For that one, if you're going to change from one salt to another, you're going to first take your water changes a little bit slower, especially if your parameters are kind of different from one, like calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium. You're going to want to do roughly like small, like 10% water changes per week if you can. And this is going to give your tank time to adjust in between the different levels. Do this for like 6 to 8 weeks. It's going to give you that slow adjustment up. And then you can kind of resume your just normal water change schedule. Increase your dosing along with that, or decrease it to meet those same levels. Even if your levels are the same between the two salts, your alkaline, calcium, and everything, trace elements will be different too. So you do want to not just go to straight big water changes between the two. Go to smaller, more frequent water changes and let your tank adjust to them. over the course of, that 6 to 8 week time, just to be on the safe side. Slow is always better than doing something too fast in a reef tank.
How much salt we need to start a clear 30?
Man, you want me to do math right now? It is roughly half a cup for 5 gallons for salt. If you look at our boxes, each bag does roughly 40 gallons, depending on the salinity that you put it at. So you would need roughly 1 bag out of the box.
We also have for those who don't know, we have calculators for our salt mix on the website.
Oh, that's true.
You can also scan the QR code on the box to get to it. And that goes for all of our calcium mag supplements as well. We have calculators, so you don't have to do the math. Should you cycle your tank before adding salt?
No, you can't, because you can't grow the proper bacteria. So you've got to, when you put your salt, before you even put like sand and live rock or any of that in there, you gotta get your salt water in. So, or when you add your sand and rock, you're adding salt water to it. So you can't do anything as far as establishing an aquarium with it not being
Gotta
salt
be a
water.
saltwater tank to cycle it. Thank you, JR. Would you guys recommend a bigger tank for a saltwater beginner or a smaller tank? What are the pros and cons of both?
Oof, this is so tough.
I always say 4 foot. Let's go 4 feet.
Yeah,
It's in the middle.
if you have the budget for it to go saltwater, bigger is better. So, start at 4 foot if you can. I mean, you can go even bigger. If your budget is really kind of restrained, cube 20 or an all-in-one like 35 is okay. But do understand, the smaller the aquarium technically is harder because it's a smaller volume of water, so things can go poorly faster. So you really have to understand the smaller aquarium nano restraints, more frequent water changes, less stocking, more careful with dosing and feeding and things like that. So, pros of a smaller tank is more budget friendly. Cons is it can be harder to maintain. Pros of a bigger tank, easier to maintain, you can have more in it. Cons is you gotta spend more money on it.
Yep.
That's a good question.
Chris says he loves his FLED light, by the way. We got some freshwater people in here.
Yeah. Our plants love them too.
Yep.
All right, we got some winners.
We do have some winners.
All right, we gotta give away monies.
So
Hopefully
just so you
that's-
guys know, we do give away money every week on Waterbox Live, usually a couple $100 in gift cards. That's us thanking you for asking the great questions. If you're watching this after we're live, make sure you tune in because that's how you get a chance to win. And if you guys appreciate the stream, make sure you smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We are here every single week doing this. So.
And we do have a new series that is dropping every 2 weeks on YouTube.
Yep, Year of the Reef. So head over to waterboxaquariums.com. There's a little link there on the homepage to get to Year of the Reef. We're giving away a $2,000 gift card at the end of March. And we're giving away 3 more of those throughout the year. So definitely check out that series, taking you through the whole process of setting up a reef tank and maintaining it for a year.
Yep, it's a really good series. So it's just getting started. We're just a couple weeks in, so do join in on that. And the weeks that's not airing, we do have recorded videos on other great aquarium topics. So you definitely want to subscribe and hit notifications on the channel to keep up to date with what we've got going on here at Waterbox. So let's give away some money.
Okay.
Are you
Money,
ready? Money, money!
Wolfman5121 and calm it down, Karen. Email both of you guys, email winners at waterboxaquariums.com. We'll get you hooked up with that. Let us know if you're in the US or Canada. And I do want to say, I appreciate you guys sticking around. We had some technical difficulties, but you guys came back. You hung out with us. We always greatly appreciate you guys for being here. So.
Such a rarity. We have any issue with YouTube, too.
No, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
We'll be back next Wednesday. What
Talk about nano aquariums.
Yeah.
That's a good topic, too. So definitely tune in there. It's people asking about getting started. So we're going to tackle the idea of nano aquariums, talk about the good, the bad, all of it. So definitely tune in.
See you guys next week.
See ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. For more information on Waterbox Aquariums, visit waterboxaquariums.com.
We're live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to tune in, and we'll see you next week.